What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Sports Podcast. I'm William Block, and joining me from Miami, Florida, is Luis Barranco. Luis, it's Friday. Got another week of baseball in the books. I think we're at week week 6 in the books. How you doing?
How we do? I mean, it's been a week in baseball. We had a lot of good series, a lot of, World Series-esque finales. I mean, you can't complain. I mean, it's getting hot outside. Summer is just around the corner. How are we feeling about that?
I hope it is. We talk about the weather a lot on this podcast. If you guys are new, hit that subscribe button. Of course, never miss an episode. Hit that alarm bell or whatever, the notification bell on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and Locked In Sports Pod on those channels, posting clips, posting graphics, everything. So, it's still in the 40s this morning in Chicago, but it's supposed to be nice. I don't know if you saw the news, but everyone here is kind of, at least Twitter is excited about the new Pope, who is from Chicago, born in Chicago. It was funny because the Cubs tweeted out, there was like some rumblings on Twitter before we got the official news from, I guess, his brother. But the Cubs tweeted out like the marquee, and it said, "Congrats to the Pope" or something, and he's a Cubs fan. And then the brother, is interviewed by I think local news or some news station. I don't know if it was local or national or whatever, but international even too. But basically saying no, referring to the new Pope. He's a White Sox fan, and then the White Sox kind of trolled him. And then posted like a picture of their scoreboard saying he's a White Sox fan. And yeah, Twitter's been on fire the past 24 hours. A lot of funny Chicago jokes saying like it's been funny. Malort's, a lot of shout outs to Lou Malnati's Deep Dish Pizza. And yeah, then they found a picture of him at the World Series in 2005. So the Pope knows baseball. Does the Pope have an opinion on the 2025 MLB season?
Does the Pope? My question is: does the Pope like Jerry Reinsdorf?
There's no.
Who is the Pope's favorite White Sox? Is he a Benny Biceps guy? Is he a Lou Bob? Now in 2005, was he an AJ Persinski? Gritty toughness type of guy, or was he a little Paul Konerko, Juan Uribe? I'm very interested to see. Jose Contreras.
Throwback to like a Dick Allen. What are his thoughts on the 1919 Black Sox scandal?
Interesting.
Yeah.
What is his thought on Tim Anderson? Was he a Tim Anderson fan? If he was a TA fan, then yeah, I might be running the church today, and buying some books and becoming a pastor,
Yeah, I would love to know his thoughts on all that. It is funny though. Or it is cool, I guess. Twitter's been, it's one of those days. Like Twitter, there's definitely some major downsides of the application, I will say. But yesterday was one of those days where it's funny, and it kind of makes having Twitter like worth it.
Now here's my question: what's top 5 Twitter? Let's 5 is too many. Top 3 Twitter days.
Oh God, there's so many niche ones that I can't like really remember. I will say when the Queen died, sad day, but was a good day for Twitter. Good Twitter day. That was the first one that came to mind, but there's been a lot. Yesterday was certainly one of them. I guess I should keep a running list. I don't know. I feel like whenever something crazy happens in the NBA, like Jason Tatum having just an absolute disaster class in the first 2 games of the Eastern Conference semifinals. I feel like those were some pretty good Twitter days. That series has been interesting. Good for the Yankee fans that are Knicks fans, of course.
Nixon 4.
I think this could be one of those weird series where just the road team wins more games. Like I wouldn't be shocked if the Celtics came into the Garden in New York and won the next 2, and it's 2-2 going back to Boston. And then who knows? Maybe the Knicks win again in Boston.
That place is going to be tonight. Everybody in there, like the city's going to be on fire tonight in New York.
I think it's on Saturday. I think it's Tonight we got Pacers, Cavs, and then Nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be everybody's going to be there tomorrow night. Yankees are out tomorrow. I don't even know who the Mets play this weekend.
The Mets are playing Chicago. The Cubs
here in Chicago.
No, in New York, actually.
Nobody's going to go out to that. Everybody's going to the Knicks game. You know,
those that can afford it. I can't imagine the cheapest ticket to even get in that place. Celebrity Row is going to be probably
Celebrity Rose.
Yeah, it might be one of the hottest tickets in MSG history.
So my question is, do you think we see an appearance from the Yankees and Gleyber Torres? I mean, let's start out. This is going to be a good segue. I mean, who is – because, I mean, last year it was Gleyber Torres, Nestor Cortez, and Stanton would join up and sit.
Yeah.
Who are those guys on this team now is my question. I know they're in Sacramento. They're on their West Coast trip, but who is it this year?
Yeah, who's going if the Knicks make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? I would say
if it's a game 6
or a game 6 games. Yeah. I would say Volpe. I feel like he goes to a lot of those. I would say Austin Wells seems like he's been going to MSG a little bit. Maybe Belly. Belly kind of strikes me as a dude that might go to one of these games. I don't think Devin Williams can get away with it, even though he was great on Wednesday. I don't think he's quite there yet.
Did Waldo go last year?
I think Waldo, the thing is, like, Waldo makes decent money, but those tickets are like, if you're sitting courtside, those are some extremely expensive tickets. I don't know if Waldo's balling like that, to be honest, but
because it was last year it was Stanton, Schmidt.
Schmidt.
Stanton, Schmidt, Nestor, Volpe. I remember Volpe seeing, and then
Gleyber. Gleyber was at every damn game. I mean, that dude.
Him and Nestor were like together, like all the time at the games.
Yeah.
And my thing is like, okay, those guys are gone. So who are they? I know they do sometimes they do a lot of hockey. I know Volpe and Wells have done hockey with Judge, but the Rangers are out of the playoffs. So I mean.
And Judge is a dad now. He's got a young, or I don't know if the baby's been born yet. It's born. Okay, so yeah, he's busy. Devin Williams is busy. Trent Grisham just had a kid. He's busy. So none of those dudes. I don't know. Do we see like a cheeky Yorbat Vivas? Does he decide to go and be like, hey, my name's? No one would know who he is. I mean, no one.
You know who's gonna be there?
JC Escara.
Jazz. We forgot Jazz.
Oh yeah, Jazz. Jazz will definitely be there.
Yeah, Jazz. But but that's a great segue into how we talk about all of our podcasts every week. We always open up our podcast with a Yankee rundown. I mean, our resident Yankee aficionado, Yankee fan William Locke, we always review the series that was for the Yankee, the week that was. And without further ado, we will be reviewing the week that was for the Yankees. So this week, the Yankees had a 3-game set down at the Bronx. They did play the San Diego Padres. Very interesting series. As I had this conversation last night, I was at the bar last night at comedy night, and we were talking ball and just talking about how competitive the NL West is in comparison to all of the other divisions in Major League Baseball and just in general. And so potentially a World Series preview, or potentially one of these teams could be there at the end. But the Yankees did play the Padres and won the series 2 out of 1. Monday,
2 out of 3.
Yeah, sorry, 2 out of 3. Monday, the Padres won 4-3. This was the Devin Williams blow-up start, which we will discuss later. Rainy night. Luke Weaver was okay, but I think this is the Devin Williams game. Another strong Carlos Rodon start. Tuesday, the Yankees won 12-3. Again, they went ballistic in the 7th, all capped off by an Austin Wells home run, which was electric. And then Wednesday, Max Fried dazzled again, and the Yankees won in extra innings 4-3. Devin Williams got out of a bases loaded jam on Wednesday, and then JC Escara ends up with a game-winning RBI sac fly out to the left field. So, William, how are we feeling about it? What a roller coaster of a week. We went from Monday's Devin Williams blow up to Devin Williams not blowing the game. Definitely a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, it was an interesting week because we kind of came in on a negative heading into the Monday night's game with that series loss over the weekend to Tampa. And, our episode on Monday morning, we were concerned and we knew the Padres series was going to be tough looking at the guys we were facing. And then you had what happened on Monday with Devin Williams coming in the eighth inning, giving up the walk, 2 walks and a hit. And then, Luke Weaver did come in and allowed those guys to score, giving up a couple hits back to back. Another one of those games was that 7 now on the season where you feel like the Yankees should have won the game. Was it 7?
I think we're at 8.
8? Okay.
I know a lot of people, and I know on Yankee Twitter, there's a lot of people saying 6, 7, but I think we've counted. They don't count games because, like, if I could remember right now, I'll do it quickly. Pirates Sunday getaway game. That's 1.
Yeah, and then
Monday's game. Arizona Mark Leiter blow up.
Yep.
Tampa blow up on Devin Williams in Tampa with Aranda.
Yeah. Sunday Giants game.
Sunday Giants game. Yep. That's 5. And then Tampa this weekend on Saturday.
Yeah.
6. And then who else have they played?
Well, now San Diego.
I counted San Diego 6. So
we had that Cleveland game on Tuesday. The Tuesday Cleveland game, lost 3-2. We're up 2-0, and then the 6th inning happened. Gave up 3 in the 6th.
I did not watch that game. I'm at 6 right now.
Okay. Well, we'll have to do a full audit.
I'm at 6 because then the Pirates won versus Detroit. There wasn't one. They swept Toronto. Oh, the Toronto one, the Friday night Toronto game.
Oh yeah, that Williams got the loss on that one. Yeah, Williams.
So pretty much any
Williams
game
blown slave. Yeah,
pretty much any game that Williams pitched and blew. So at this point, but
a lot.
Here's my question: you got to see Monday's game. How do you feel about the whole Williams at the end of this week?
Well, yeah, Monday was obviously a tough blow for his confidence, but he finished it really strong, and I think that was kind of the theme of this series for the Yankees, both within the actual games on Tuesday and Wednesday, and kind of as a whole in the series. You go down 1-0 in the series, terrible loss, and you bounce back Tuesday in a really interesting game, scoring 10 runs in the 7th. Like, they bounced back with a bang, showed some resilience to come back from the tough loss on Monday, and then Wednesday, Dylan Cease is just absolutely dealing, and you don't have a hit through 6 innings, whatever. And then Belly hits that home run to tie it. Cease leaves the game with an injury, was probably close to getting pulled anyway. And then the Padres take the lead again. And in the bottom of the 8th, you come up huge with Trent Grisham to tie the game. And then obviously at the end, JC Escarra won it with the sac fly. And Devin Williams in the top of the 10th, bases loaded, full count. And he gets, was it Bogarts with a strikeout? Huge. It was a nasty changeup, went to his best pitch. The fastball still really wasn't working in that game. Was pulling it to the left pretty hard. Maybe, I don't know what's going on with his fastball, but that was still a huge moment for him. Maybe it turns into some confidence. Like, he had a few good outings before the blow up on Monday night. So I don't know what it's going to mean long-term for him. I think Weaver did struggle this week. And maybe Weaver's opening the door for somebody else based on the 2 appearances he had in the San Diego series. Maybe he's opening the door for somebody else to come in and fill that closer role again. Maybe it's Williams if this was a good outing for him on Wednesday, but he's still got a long way to go.
Or Fernando Cruz.
Maybe Fernando Cruz gets some opportunities. Yeah. He was good. Obviously he's been strong. The thing with him though, and I know relievers are like this, generally speaking, but Cruz is kind of a one-pitch pitcher too, with just the splitter. And then Williams, he's truly a one-pitch pitcher. I don't understand how. They have this year. They've been timing up the changeup, and kind of teeing off on it. So we'll see if Weaver continues to struggle. Yeah, I think we're gonna see a potential new guy in the closer role, but I think Weaver still has it right now.
Yeah. I think I have a question for you. I have a couple questions. What do
Okay.
you think so I feel like, we can go on and on and on about statistics and everything, but I think we need to talk about something really big. Did you watch Michael King on Tuesday?
The Michael King show?
The Michael
Oh,
King show.
I was thinking Michael K.
Michael King.
Yeah, what about him?
What do you think?
What, you want the Yankees to sign him in free agency?
I haven't said that. I haven't said that. What do you think about Michael King? His start, aside from the Judge Homer, what do you think?
Yeah, he's been really strong. What was it? 6 innings, 2 earned runs. I know you don't want to talk about stats,
I know,
but yeah,
the
he
eye
would be.
test.
I think he would be a really, really, really strong third starter behind Rodon and Fried. I mean, it won't happen this year because the Padres are, of course, a contender. They're not going to trade him. But if they don't want to fork up the money in free agency, I don't know. Would he be surplus to requirements next year? Because you would have Fried, Rodon, you would have Cole back at some point, you would have Heel. Like, how many strong starters do you need?
I think you need as many as possible. But my thing is like, I don't know if you've read the news, but I mean, it's kind of like, oh, the Michael King Yankee reunion. It's getting floated this early. Like, is that his agency and PR working overtime? Get him back.
Yeah, that was a John Heyman thing, I feel like, right?
There was also a Fox Sports article. I mean, they said he still texts with a lot of guys on the team, like Schmidt and everybody. I mean, it's kind of interesting of the timing about it to me. Like, you wouldn't be flirting with somebody when you're in a relationship, from what it sounds like.
And he's in you would think, a good relationship. I mean, he's been really good in San Diego. And I don't know, he's from Rochester. He's from the New York area. Maybe he's going to want to come back in free agency. I don't know. He's 29. I would welcome him, but you also have Schmidt in the rotation. Like, they just have a lot of dudes that are going to be in that rotation next year. I know Cole won't come back till maybe like mid-season, but I don't know. How much do you think he's going to get AAV? Like 20, 25? Like, that's a lot. Do you really want to hand out another one of those contracts? You already have like 3 of them in the starting rotation.
You're just changing out Stroman for this guy.
That is true. That is true. The Yankees are slow playing that injury.
Stroman is not coming back till September. Like,
Yeah, no.
At all.
How many innings has he thrown? Because I think it's 140, the innings number that he has to hit for that option.
He only threw like 3 starts. He threw the San Francisco start and then probably 1 or 2 more before that.
Yeah, he's at 9.1 innings, and he has three starts on the year. And then the knee flamed up on him.
Yeah, I mean, now the next question for this series is, I mean, who did we learn more about this week? Did we learn more about the Yankees, or did we learn more about the Padres? I learned more about the Padres this week.
I would disagree, actually. I think we learned more about the Yankees because of that resiliency that I talked about, and the fact that San Diego had the best bullpen in the league, and they might still do, or they might still have the best bullpen in the league. But heading into the series, I think they were 17-0 on the season when they were leading with in games in the 7th inning or later. And I mean, they got to the Padres bullpen on Tuesday. They to Wandy Peralta specifically, just an absolute disaster class of a 7th inning for him. And they got to the Padres bullpen on Wednesday. The only guy that they didn't touch is Robert Suarez, who is still incredible. But Jason Adam gave up the home run to Trent Grisham, and then they manufactured a run on Wednesday with the bunt from Oswaldo, which was a perfect bunt. And then the sac fly from Escar. It was beautiful. And, credit to Boone for bringing in JC Escar to pinch hit in that situation. I believe it was for Peraza. Not exactly the guy you would think you would go to on the bench, but whatever numbers they were looking at, he got the job done. So I actually learned a lot about the Yankees and kind of their ability to manufacture a win on Wednesday, their ability to just generally fight back. Like, I feel like this team has more fight than previous teams. Like, a lot of times the lineup would just lay over in the past. But I feel like this lineup really battles. They still, on some nights give really good at bats, some nights not so much. But I was impressed by them, to be honest. I'm curious what you thought about the Padres then.
To me, it sounds like Boone has his trust with JC Escara. Like, look at it. He kept him in the game on Sunday, and then he put him in yesterday.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's something there that we got to keep our eyes on for sure. You wouldn't hit Ben Rice, which, I mean, I understand Ben Rice has been struggling to get a hit, but still, like, who would you take, Ben Rice or JC Escara? Game on the line.
Right. You would take Ben Rice, but I do think that's an interesting point that Ben Rice has been struggling because we've started to see reports that Giancarlo Stanton might be back end of the month. I mean, he was hitting he had a live at bat against Jay Cousins this week at the stadium. Was seen running pregame. We had that discussion a few weeks ago about what happens with Ben Rice when Giancarlo Stanton comes back. Well, now Giancarlo Stanton seems like he might be on the cusp of coming back. Ben Rice has been struggling. I don't know.
You know what that means with Giancarlo? He won't be back till July. Come on, like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's not going to be back until he plays. It's like there's so many things. Like, the only one that we have soon coming back is Jonathan Loaiza, which Jonathan Loaiza is going to throw in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, like in AAA. He's going to be throwing soon, so he'll be back in the rotation. I mean, Cookie Carrasco got optioned to AAA, which I think is kind of interesting.
Why? Well, he didn't get optioned. He got DFA'd, and no one claimed him on waivers.
But you would think that he would opt out of his deal and become a free agent or find a way to get free agency, and somebody would take him to eat innings. Like, please, like, he's better than most of the Colorado pitchers.
But why, as a pitcher, would you want to voluntarily go to Colorado?
Because you get to start and you don't have to play the AAA.
But I think maybe he'd just rather be in AAA New York because there's still a hole in that Yankees rotation. Like right now, it's Ryan Yarbrough that's going to take over the Carrasco spot. Like, we'll see how long that lasts.
Well, I think we still know that they need a starter with Warren and Yarbrough. I don't know. That's just me. My whole thing is like, back to the whole point about the San Diego. I mean, San Diego's offense looks really good. Jackson Merrill's back, and he is going to be hitting scorched earth. And I think that top 5 is better than Dodgers' top 5 right now. Mookie Betts' upper percentile number, advanced metrics numbers have not been great this season. And Ohtani's been getting better recently. The only guy in that Dodger lineup that has been hitting ridiculous is Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, he's been.
And when you compared him to the Padres, with the Padres, you're going to have Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, Jackson Merrill, Xander Bogaerts, which is question mark. Like, I think those.
You forgot Tatis.
I said Tatis.
Oh, and Arrays, which he hasn't been doing Arrays things because of the concussion and everything. And Machado. And I would throw Gavin Sheets in there. He's been really good this year.
Yeah, but I'm saying they've been hitting way better than the Dodgers. And I mean, you have that pen. I mean, they only really need one starter. And of course, Dylan Cease gets right versus the Yankees.
We predicted that. I said that on Monday's episode. I was like, well, he has a 5-something ERA. You know, he's having like 11 strikeouts, 6 innings, scoreless ball. I was pretty close on that one. Yeah, I mean, I do think the Padres lineup is obviously strong. They don't have a lot of power. They are only 25th in home runs on the season, but I do really like Jackson Merrill slotting back into that lineup back from the injury. He got drilled on the elbow forearm area on Wednesday, and I was a little concerned for him there, but it turned out to be okay, which was good. Yeah, he's fun to have in the lineup. And then they need Cronenworth to come back. He's still banged up right now. And yeah, that's kind of the main guy right now on their injured list in terms of hitters. They still got Darvish on the injured list with that elbow inflammation. Pavetta's, I think he's back now. Pavetta's back. Joe Musgrove.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
But the whole point is like that lineup. I know the Yankees are probably the class of the AL. We would agree, and that's not us being biased, but it's just like go look at how bad the AL East is this year. Like, and that's one of the things. Like, one of the guys that I follow on Twitter is making the point. Is just like, yeah, we always talk about the Yankees, and we're always like freaking about the games that they blow. And the Red Sox are 20-19 right now.
Yeah. That was kind of the point I was making on the last episode when you were freaking out about the Yankees not buying the season. You're selling your stock already. I'm like, well, they don't have to win 95, 96 games to win the division this year. Like it's probably going to be 90 to 93 wins just because so far really no team has stood out. I mean, the Red Sox are a game above 500 now. They got some issues that we're going to talk about in a second. The Blue Jays, Rays, and Orioles, like we could be able to just put a stick in the Orioles at this point in the season, put a stake in them. But the Rays and the Blue Jays, they're not going to be contending for the division. So it's going to come down to the Yankees and the Red Sox. And I don't know. I feel like the Yankees have been fine. I do feel like they've left a lot of games on the table, and we keep talking about. They need pitch if they're serious about winning the World Series this year, which I think if every single season you have Aaron Judge on your team, and he's only getting older, like you have to do everything you can to win a World Series. I don't care if Garrett Cole isn't healthy. There's no excuse to punt a season with all the money you have in the payroll. All the talent you have on the roster, to be frank. They got to go out and do something. Get a pitcher. It doesn't have to be. I don't know. Could it be a buy low on Sandy Alcantara?
No. My next question to you, and this is how we're going to wrap up today's Yankee segment. Yankees currently stand at 21-16. We're saying Baltimore, there's a fork in them. The AL Central, the Royals, the Guardians, and the Tigers all have better records. Are they all those three teams better than the Yankees?
In a playoff series, the only team I'm scared about, well, no, I don't want to say scared about. The only team that might be favored against the Yankees would be the Tigers. Cleveland and Kansas City would not be favored against the Yankees in a DS, in a CS, in a wild card series. The Yankees would still be favored.
How about Seattle?
That would be a tough series.
I feel like Seattle and Detroit are very similar constructed teams.
They are, but I feel like Seattle has more pop in that lineup.
Well, I think the also thing that they helps them a lot is the ballpark, too. T-Mobile.
Right. It would be interesting if the Yankees were to play Seattle in a wild card series. Would it be in New York or would it be in Seattle? Because that series would look a whole lot different depending on where you're playing those games. Cal Raleigh, left-handed hitter. I guess he's a switch hitter, but when he's hitting lefty, short porch in New York. JP Crawford, short porch in New York. Jorge Polanco, short porch in New York. Like they have a lot of good lefties. It would be an interesting series, but then if you played in Seattle, obviously it's a pitcher's park. Advantage pitching, which the Yankees have had better pitching than the Mariners this year. I know that sounds crazy, but Fried and Rodon have been better than the top guys in the Seattle rotation who haven't been as good as anticipated this year. Logan Gilbert's hurt. Brian Moo just had a bad start against the A's. Maybe not bad, but not great. They're 15th in starting pitching ERA, and the Yankees are 12th.
So, we'll find out next week. Next week we have a series. Looking ahead, Judge goes home this weekend. Big series for Aaron Judge, playing in Sacramento. I don't think he's ever played in Sacramento.
He's from Fresno area, or where is he?
Born in Sacramento.
Okay.
And he went to Linden High School. So,
which is where?
California.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's in California. I would imagine, Linden, California. So it's in San Joaquin County. And that is outside of Stockton. So, yeah, Northern California area. South of Sacramento. It's going to be a good series. Runs are going to be scored. And then they got Seattle. William, great out the week for the Yankees.
I give it a 7. Should have been a sweep. The Monday loss was brutal, but they bounced back really strong, which was good to see. I can talk through the probables for this weekend series. Cool. The A's tonight. It's like a 10 o'clock Eastern start. So,
William will not be up for those games. It will be I will be covering the Yankees this weekend, up 10 o'clock at night.
Well, Saturday and Sunday, it's 3 o'clock my time. So I'll definitely watch those tonight. I'll probably just catch up on the condensed highlights in the morning. Will Warren, Osvaldo Bido tonight, Carlos Rodon, JP Sears on Saturday, Claude Schmidt, Luis Severino on Sunday. And then you go to Seattle to wrap up the West Coast road trip. Max Fried versus Emerson Hancock on Monday, Ryan Yarbrough versus Brian Wu on Tuesday, and then Wednesday is Will Warren versus Luis Castillo. So tough road trip here for the Yankees. And then obviously a week from today is Juan Soto, Mets, Yankees reunion.
Rivalry weekend. It'll be rivalry weekend. So my thing is, why is there still Will Warren and Ryan Yarbrough back to back?
Yeah, that's a great question. It shouldn't be that way.
Aaron Boone back with some managerial decisions.
Yeah, I mean, Trent Grisham, I just want to say 10 home runs on the season. That is, who had that on their bingo card? I mean, he has been incredible.
All-Star Grisham?
He might be an all-star right now.
A Grisham revenge series. Grisham and King had a revenge series this week. The only one that didn't pitch was Johnny Brito. You remember Johnny Brito? So
I want to see Ben Rice get going again this weekend.
Hey, Little League Park in Sacramento, AAA ballpark. Yankees should put up some runs this weekend.
There's always runs at that stadium. The Mariners-A's series was full of runs this week, which was a good series.
Other thing too is they don't really have like strong starters this weekend. JP's probably their strongest one tomorrow, but then Severino is hit or miss, and then today should just be a ridiculous game with Bido and Warren. Yeah, I think that game's gonna be like Will Warren might be down 5-0 after like the first go around through the order, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees put up 4 like that quickly.
Yeah, the over/under is 11. That is an extremely wow. That's a really high line. 11.
Yeah,
so, that's Coors treatment. We're talking. Coors is always like 11.5, 10.5.
And the Yankees do play at Coors this year.
They do. Yeah, I think it's this month, right?
It's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's Memorial Day weekend because I'm pretty sure the Cubs play.
The Yankees play in Coors Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
Hey, how do you not know this? How do I know the schedule and you don't?
Well, it's because Memorial Day weekend isn't the last weekend of May this year, which it normally is. It's the second to last, which has been throwing me off.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and I am partially right because on actual Memorial Day, which is May 26th, actual Memorial Day, the Monday, the Rockies are playing the Cubs in Wrigley at 1:20 Central.
And are you going to that game?
Hell no.
Okay. I don't think you would go watch the 6-31 Rockies, but
I guess the question is, who do the Sox play that day? I'll look that up. Because if the Sox are at home, then I probably, even though the Sox stink, I would prefer to go to that game.
Man, the Yankees do have just a preview before we keep going. They get back next week. They get the Mets and then the Rangers, and then they go to Colorado, and then they spend a week in LA.
Yeah, playing the Dodgers
and the Angels.
Yeah, a lot of West Coast on this month.
Next month they don't really go that far. Next month only to Kansas City, Boston, and Cincy, and then wrap up the month in Canada.
In Cincy, should I go? Is it a weekend series?
It's a week series. You're not going to be able to go. So what I said, we might have to talk to Armand since we're going to Boston. Hey, road trip to New York, rivalry weekend, Soto's Chambers.
No, it's too expensive. We're there in Boston. I want to go to Fenway.
Boots on the ground. But hey, let's talk about what's been going on. Derek Shelton got the axe yesterday from the Pirates. He was a manager there since 2020. One thing about him is he is consistent. In 21, when they played 162, 61 and 101. 2022, 62 and 100. In 23, 76 and 86. In 2024, 76 and 86. So he is pretty consistent with his record. Pirates really not going anywhere. Thoughts on that?
Fall guy scenario, like it's the easiest one to get rid of, and they've been terrible. I think the fans are maybe a little bit upset with the bullpen management. I mean, the team can't hit. They can produce pitching. They do a really good job producing pitching, but they can't produce bats. I don't know if you saw this week the Usher getting in a fight with the fan.
Oh, oof.
Like the organization, it just seems like that organization cannot do anything right now. And since 2000, they've made the playoffs 3 times. You want to go back further, since 1992, which is when Barry Bonds, his last season with the team, they've made the playoffs 3 times. They've had 4 winning seasons, 4 seasons of 80 wins since 1992. That is not even above 500. 80 wins. You can still finish below 500 with 80 wins. Only 4 of those seasons with 80 wins since 1992. Haven't been in the World Series since 1979. They did win it that year. It is a proud franchise. They do have a decent history. 5 World Series. Obviously, greats like Honus Wagner played there. Obviously, Barry Bonds, Archie Vaughn was there, Hall of Famer. Ralph Kiner there for a bit. Roberto Clemente, of course. How could I forget? It is a proud franchise, but for whatever reason, man, they have no idea what they're doing front office wise. The ownership, it's kind of just one of those teams that they're kind of hamstruck by their by the ownership. And
bottom line Bob, baby. BLB.
That's good. Bottom line Bob Nutting. I don't know. The manager's not going to help anything. The new manager, or getting rid of the manager, is not going to help. Key Brian Hayes gave him a big contract. Great defender, can't hit. Brian Reynolds has been down this year. Gave him a big contract. It's a matter of time before Paul Skeens is gone. They're going to waste his time in Pittsburgh, and they're not going to be able to extend him, because why would he want to stay there when they can't build a winner? And I will say, like, we have seen these younger guys, Bobby Witt Jr., Corbin Carroll, Ellie De La Cruz. Well, maybe not Ellie yet. Julio Rodriguez, Fernando Tatis, stay with the teams that brought them up. Re-sign long term. Be cool if Skeens and the Pirates are actually able to build something there, because it's a fan base that is deserving. I think the fans are sick of people parachuting in and be like, well, they have a really nice stadium. Blah, blah. That fans don't care about the nice stadium. Like, they want to win games at this point, and they're just not. It'd be cool if they're able to build a winner with Paul Skeens there. They have a lot of young pitching talent. They got to figure out the bats and spend some money. Like, they don't spend money. I can't imagine being a fan of a team like that, where no matter what you do, or no matter how many good pitchers you get, even how much young talent you get, like, they're not going to spend any money in free agency because the ownership just doesn't care. I don't know. It's frustrating.
Hey, you could be Baltimore. Combine Pittsburgh and Baltimore, make a super team. Maybe.
Yeah. Baltimore, yeah, they stink. There was more optimism about them, certainly, more recently, and they've had more success than the Pirates have had in the 21st century. But yeah, both are kind of looking grim right now.
Now, talk to me. What's going on in Boston? Let's get through that piece of news.
We got to talk about this. Red Sox win the series against the Rangers, which I think is obviously good news for them. But there's been some distraction off the field that has taken away from their series win over the Rangers. So obviously on, I think it was earlier this week, last weekend, Tristan Casas lost, I think it was last Friday against the Twins, lost for the season after rupturing his patella tendon in the left knee. His knee was just, not a good injury. And Rafael Devers, who notably was their third baseman before they signed Alex Bregman. There was that drama in the offseason, Devers saying he's a third baseman, but then the team moved him to DH to let Bregman play third base. Rafi Devers said he met with Red Sox baseball chief baseball officer Craig Breslow, who asked him if he'd switched to first base. And Devers said no. He said, quote, "They had the conversation with me," and this was through an interpreter. "I don't think for me personally, it's the best decision after they asked me to play a different position. And I only had 2 months playing this position to all of a sudden have me try to play another position. So from my end, it doesn't seem like a good decision." Okay, fair. He then goes on, though. "It was after the Casas injury. They came to me and talked about it. I know I'm a ball player, but at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. In spring training, they talked to me and basically told me to put away my glove, and I wasn't going to play any other position but DH. Asked if there's a chance he might change his mind, Devers immediately said no. He said, quote, "I don't think so. They've told me I'm a little hard-headed, and they already asked me to change once. This time, I don't think I can be as flexible." And then he went on, "Yeah, I don't feel like they were true to their word. They told me that I was going to play this position, DH, and now they're going back on that. I just don't think they're staying true with their word." I'm no, and then Devers said there was no trouble with his teammates, but was upset that Breslow came to him with the question. "I'm not certain what he has with me. He played ball. I would like to think that he knows that a change to position like isn't that easy." End quotes. What are your thoughts on this situation? It's yet another example this year of Rafael Devers being in the media, being in the news for the wrong reasons.
I feel like both sides have a good argument. For one, I do get like why he's frustrated. Think about it: top five third baseman in the game. You sign somebody at his position as good, if not better than him. How would that make you feel? And then they're asking you to switch positions when you're like, no, and you've made a multi-year commitment to that franchise, forego free agency, committed to a city and a franchise, and now they're like, oh yeah, we want you to do this. Like, isn't that a slap in the face? I get it. It's like a whole like team thing. Like, oh yeah, you do what's best for your team, but like, why would they want you to move like to another position? Am I not good enough to play this position for you?
Yeah. There's that whole team argument. Got to do what's best for the team. You got guys like Javier Baez playing center field. You got guys like Bryce Harper playing outfield and playing first base and saying he'd move back to the outfield if they were to sign Pete Alonso. There was that report over the offseason. I think it was if it was like shortstop or second base, maybe, it would be a little bit more challenging, but first base is the easiest position on the field. With all due respect to first baseman out there, not trying to come at you guys, but there's a reason they usually put the least athletic dude at first base. Think of the first baseman in the league: Pete Alonso, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Paul Goldschmidt. Like, none of those guys are breaking 60-yard dash records. 90, so, and he's played third before, so it's a corner infield position. You would think that that skill set would translate in some ways. And your teammate just blew up his knee essentially. And it's like Romy Gonzalez has been playing some first base. I think Devers hinted at the Red Sox needing to go out externally and find a dude to play first. I just don't think it's a good look. You can keep this internal, talk to Breslow behind closed doors, but do you have to go to the media?
Well, it was
this stuff. I know they were asking him questions and things, but
it was going to
shut it down.
It was going to come out regardless. I feel that point. I kind of feel like both sides suck here. If this was a Reddit article, I think everybody sucks here. Like, first off, the Red Sox stink for creating. It's like they went on a date with another girl, and dating both at one time like doesn't go well at all. That's what's going on here. And then now they're asking him like, oh, hey, is it cool for you to move over because we got this Alex Bregman guy? Like, I can't wait for what's his name on Instagram, the guy who does like tells his girlfriend in like relationship terms, like, oh, this is what's going on. Like, did you hear about Devin and Luke?
Yeah.
And so, like, Devin and Luke have been a thing, and Luke's been this guy. That's what's going to happen. But my whole thing is you sign a guy. The Red Sox have unconsciously, consciously created this mess that they have to fix. And it would not surprise me if this leads to a divorce in an offseason, because that's what we're trending to. Because as Devin said, he signed this contract with a whole different management group, and it's different. And it would not surprise me that it leads to an inevitable divorce.
Seems like we're trending that way. He's been strong this season, but if you look at his contract, just pulling it up right now,
top third baseman in the game.
Offensively, definitely not defensively.
Yeah, but the third base position stinks. You would definitely have.
Yeah, he's under contract through 2033.
Yeah,
29 million AAV. It's a lot of money. He's 28 and in his prime, theoretically. I mean, I know the Yankees need a third baseman, but I don't want that dude playing third base defensively for my team.
He's not going to happen. If he's a Red Sox player, it's not going to happen. So
yeah, trade. Yeah, because it would have to be a trade. Yeah,
not happening. But regardless, talk about the week in baseball. Let's talk about some series, my guy. Let's Dodgers won 2 out of 3. Killed them on Monday and Wednesday. Tuesday, Jesus Sanchez hit a walk-off. Sandy struggled on Monday. Any thoughts with this series? 350 for Freddie.
Yeah, 350 career home runs for Freddie Freeman. He's been really good this year. House Young Kim came up, got his first career hit on Monday. A few other RBIs throughout the series. He's actually been pretty good for them, filling in for the injured Tommy Edman. Dodgers are banged up. You know, they just lost Teoscar in this series to the injured list with the adductor strain. They have all the pitching injuries that we've talked about. And now Tommy Edman also on the injured list. Dodgers, they're injured, but they still have the tied for the best record in baseball. So that's kind of a scary thought, honestly. And Sandy struggled again, 5 innings, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. I feel like every single start he has, though, is against good teams. So maybe he gets some relief coming up. But yeah, Dodgers took care of business, banged up, but beat up on a bad Marlins team.
Guardians win 2 out of 3 versus Washington. Nationals won 10-9 on game 1 as Mondays was postponed. And then the Guardians came in, won game 2, 9-1, and won Wednesday 8-6. Guardians quietly a very good baseball team right now.
Quietly, I think they'll continue to quietly be a good baseball team because people just don't really care that much about the Guardians. But they've actually been getting some pretty good production from their middle infield, which if you're a Guardians fan, you know that is extremely welcome considering what they had been getting from like Brian Rocchio and Andres Jimenez last season. Daniel Schneeman's been good for them at second, and Gabriel Arias has been good for them at shortstop. And then, you know, this week, Clase has kind of turned things around, got the save on Wednesday. He's been looking better since they kind of gave him a reset last week or 2 weeks ago, moved him to the 8th inning in that Red Sox series. Now he's kind of back in the closer role, and he's doing fine. So they're a team to watch, certainly. That's a team that needs starting pitching we talked about. But surprisingly for them, I know the lineup statistics aren't great, but they have been getting production from some unexpected dudes, like I mentioned. So they're a team to watch. They got Philly this weekend, which will be an interesting series for them. They're facing Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez, and Zach Wheeler. That one is in Cleveland.
Exactly. Reds played the Braves this weekend. The Braves ended up winning the series, winning 3 out of 4. Again, scary play on Monday. Tyler Callahan blew up his wrist. And then Hunter Green's on the IL with a groin injury. Thoughts on that? I mean, very tough. I think the Reds might be sellers this year at the deadline.
Wow. You're really down on the Reds despite, you know, them only being 3.5 games back and only a game under 500. You're out. I mean, if no Green, it's going to be a huge loss, but I'm glad it's not like an elbow thing. It's just a groin thing.
It's groin, but I just feel like they can't hit. That's the thing. I feel like they're going to be facing better teams in the NL. They still got to play the Cubs. They still got to play out the West teams. I'm not a fan. And the wins that they have been getting have been against the Marlins and the Rockies, like just bottom feeder teams.
Yeah, they do have pitching in the minor leagues. I don't know if we'll see it this year. Chase Burns.
Yeah.
I saw Rhett Lauder, or was it Rhett Lauder? I think, yeah, Rhett Lauder threw a game in like the complex league, and it was actually against Clayton Kershaw, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, the lineup is not great. TJ Friedel's been good lately. Had the first left-handed home run against Grant Holmes ever on a Wednesday night. Reds won that one. But yeah, if they don't have Hunter Green, that's their, I mean, it's their best player. I know he's a pitcher, but that's their best player. They need him. And then you had the Braves walk it off Drake Baldwin yesterday. I think the Braves are kind of the conversation coming out of this series, in my opinion, outside from the Green injury. You got the Braves they've been flirting with 500. They're a game under 500. We all know they started out 0-8. Since then, 10-9 or 10-11. So still playing 500 ball. But I mean, Fangraph still gives them a 65% chance to make the playoffs. You got the report on Acuna this week that he doesn't need to do extra strengthening for his quad. It seems like his quad is there. So he should be back. They're saying end of this month. I don't think he's going to be there for the game we're going to go to in Fenway next Friday, but he definitely won't be there. But end of this month, early June for Acuna. You got Strider coming back from that hamstring injury. Those are going to be welcome returns and, really help bolster the rotation and the line. I mean, those are the two best players. So, yeah, they got Pittsburgh, Washington, and then Boston. Got to win that Pittsburgh series, got to win that 4-game set against Washington and get above that 500 hump. And I think all of a sudden we're in business with the Braves. Good pitching on that team, man. Good pitching.
Hey, I'm telling you, don't sleep on the Braves. Quickly, White Sox against Kansas City. Kansas City swept the series 4-0. Cole Reagans with 11 strikeouts on Monday. Bobby Witt's on fire. Anything to talk about the Royals?
Royals, yeah, Chris Bubik, Thursday, really good start. 7 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. They have been playing outstanding baseball since their kind of slow start. Now they're all the way up to 7 games above 500. They're still 2.5 back in that division because the Tigers have tied for the best record in baseball. But Royals are doing it again, man, with this rotation. They're second in starting pitching ERA in the big leagues, 4th in WHIP, and then relievers 5th in bullpen ERA, 8th in WHIP. Carlos Estevez has been locking down that closer role of late. Cole Reagans, top 10 pitcher. Seth Lugo, top 15. Walk has been top 30. Bubik has been top 15. Like, to really, and then they got Michael Lorenzen. Like, they got a good pitching lab there in KC. And this Sox series was the last one because yesterday was a day game. I think it happened kind of like during the Pope news, but now that the White Sox have the Pope, they got that divine backing, you could say. Maybe the White Sox go on a run here. Chicago sports. Do we go on a run now?
Could go on a run, potentially. Houston, Milwaukee. Milwaukee won 2 out of 3. Milwaukee's putting up runs in bunches. I feel the big thing here. Houston lost Jordan Alvarez with the IL on Sunday. William Contreras has a fractured finger, but will play through it. And then Framber went 7 and 1 earned, 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. Houston's struggling. Milwaukee's just going to be one of those pesky teams.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about both of these teams. They're going to be around 500, the both of them. And I'm glad I went under on Houston. They had like the 3rd or 4th highest over under in the American League. Like, I think we're at the point where we can just accept the fact that Houston they're not going to be one of those teams that you can just pencil in winning the West, being in the playoffs. Like, we're past that. I think
they're not that good.
They're just not that good anymore. Yeah.
They're not that good. There's not much. Talk about Giants, Cubs. How about Robbie Ray? How about that game on Monday? Talk to me.
I did go to the game on Monday, which was the lone game the Cubs won in this series, dropping it 2 games to 1. The Giants won the series. Monday's game was fun. The Cubs got to Hayden Birdsong, the reliever. Matthew Boyd was strong. A lot of errors from the Giants, which is really what stood out from this game. You had 2 from Adames. You had 2 from Matt Chapman, which is just uncharacteristic. The Cubs, their offense banged in that game. Big 6th inning. Carson Kelly homer, Nicky Lopez walk, Happ hit a sac fly, and then Suzuki singled, and the game was over at that point. And the Cubs bullpen kind of came to play. But then the Giants backed it up and won on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday was a crazy game. Cubs tied it, I think, late, and then it was extra innings, and the Giants scored 9 runs off of Ryan Presley in the 11th. I mean,
Ryan Presley.
If Devin Williams can build up his trade value, do you trade him to the Cubs?
Trade him to the Phillies, man. Trade him for Alec Bohm or Ranger Suarez. Let's get it going.
Yeah. I do think, though, that the Cubs and Yankees are one of those teams that kind of trades a lot. Rizzo trade, Bellinger trade. There's a relationship there, clearly.
What are you gonna get? What do the Cubs have that the Yankees would want? Starting pitching or third base wise?
Well, they don't have starting pitching and they don't have third base. Those are their 2 weaknesses, but they do have guys in the minor leagues. It would be a prospect deal.
Why prospects? We're going to win now if you're the Yankees. That's
I know.
Giants look good. I mean, Robbie Ray, man.
Yeah.
Win number 5. How are we feeling? He might be trying to get back onto your fantasy baseball team.
You love bringing up Robbie Ray because I dropped him in fantasy earlier in this year.
Well, he's one of your guys. Him and Austin Riley are like your guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Cy Young winner, So, hey, we'll see what happens. How about them Cardinals? How about Alden's Cardinals? Full sweep, 5-game winning streak. Paul Skeens pitched great, but again, he's winless against the Cardinals in his MLB career. Mason Wynn's hitting great. Are the Cardinals going to make their way into contention this year, into division contention? They've won 5 in a row.
It would be fun to see. They're second in batting average in the league. The starting pitching ERA is 16th, so it's about average. But they've had good years from Libertador, or I can never say that guy's name. And Sonny Gray. Those guys have been good for them. So, and then you got Ryan Helsley, who a closer. A lot of teams need a closer. Are the Cardinals going to be bad enough to trade him, or are they going to be, convince themselves that they're in contention and not trade him? I think that's going to be an interesting storyline to follow at the trade deadline. But yeah, I've enjoyed Victor Scott this year. He's been helping my fantasy team. Mason Wynn's been good. I don't think they're going to be in contention, though. I think they'll fall off eventually. They're in Washington this weekend for 3, and then they go to Philly, and they got KC. So tough little stretch here after the Washington series. But they're 19-19 right now, hovering above 500. I guess my question to you is, in the NL Central, Brewers, Cardinals, and Reds, who's the second best team in that division?
Brewers. Easily. Brewers.
Yeah.
They're pesky. I like how they play baseball. Brewers are kind of like the Tampa Bay Rays of the NL, in my opinion. Easily.
Yeah, and they've had starting pitching tons of injuries there. Aaron Ashby, Aaron Savali, Cortez, DL Hall, Brandon Woodruff. They got to get those guys healthy.
Yeah. Next series, Mets win the series against Arizona, winning 2 out of 3. Mets won on Monday, 5-4. D-backs won 5-1 on Tuesday, and then Juan Soto went yard twice on Wednesday. Biggest story: Corbin Burns to the IL.
Yeah, that's a tough loss for Arizona, who kind of Arizona hasn't gotten going this year. This team, they actually wrapped up the season series, these two already. They tied it 3-3. Arizona starting pitching ERA 21st, relief pitching ERA 25th, batting average 12th in the league, 6th in home runs. A lot of that's been driven by Corbin Carroll, who has 10. Just unexpected. I think he's in the MVP running, which that's another storyline. I think the MVP race in the National League is wide open because Ohtani's not going to hit, or Ohtani's not going to pitch this year.
Yep.
Dave Roberts keep pushing. I don't know if we're going to see Ohtani pitch again, to be honest. And now he's got the Ohtani. Last year he wasn't even thinking about pitching. This year they're actually thinking about bringing him back to pitch. He's doing bullpens and things. He has that distraction now. So I do think guys like Corbin Carroll, Fernando Tatis, they have a chance to win the MVP this year. It's going to be an interesting race in the National League. It's not just going to be Otani minus 800 odds by July. So that's one thing with Arizona. They did get Marte back. He hit a home run last night. They beat the Dodgers in the first game of that 4-game set. The lineup has been strong for Arizona, but they just got to get the pitching figured out.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's talk about the A's, man. Tough week for the A's, man. The Mariners won 2 out of 3. They walked it off on Monday, the A's winning, and then just the bullpen was just bad Tuesday and Wednesday for the A's as the Mariners won 5-3 and 6-5. I would still keep an eye out on the A's, man. I don't think the Marlins are going to hit this. The Mariners, excuse me, are going to be this crazy. Keep an eye out on the A's.
Yeah, we're still early in the season, so no division is going to be wrapped up by this point. But it does feel like we might get some good division races this year because you think National League East, I could see Philly, maybe the Braves pushing for it. National League Central, maybe that's maybe the one that the Cubs could just run away with. National League West, maybe the Dodgers end up running away with it, but you do have San Diego and San Francisco that are there. Arizona could get hot at the right times.
Mm-hmm.
And then American League East, I think it's going to be Yankees, Red Sox into September. American League Central, I mean, the Royals, I think, could push the Tigers, maybe even the Guardians. And then the American League West, I agree. I don't think Seattle's going to run away with this thing. I don't think their bats are going to stay this hot the whole season. So you got a team like Oakland, or you got a team like the A's that I think their pitching is more of a question mark, but they do have a strong lineup that I think is going to be able to be more consistent because they have dudes like Jacob Wilson, who's just an on-base machine, or not an on-base machine, a hitting machine more so. He doesn't really get a lot of walks, but they have the dudes in the lineup that can stay consistent. Maybe like a Texas gets hot at the right time. They just haven't really gotten going yet this season. And Houston, I don't think will be there, but I do think there are some teams that are going to push Seattle in the West, which it does make it a really interesting division race out West. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to be able to see the A's firsthand, obviously this weekend.
Yeah.
This was a fun series. Jacob Wilson had the walk-off single on Monday in the 11th. And then, a lot of runs on Wednesday, 6-5. Mariners got the win. Rough start from Brian Wu. Gave up 5 earned runs, but they got to the A's pen. So it's a fun division.
Mariners have 4 of the 15 best players in the AL by Fangraphs WAR. Cal Raleigh, 2, which is 4th ranked. Julio and Jorge Polanco are tied for 10th with 1.4 Fangraphs WAR, and JP Crawford 1.2 with Fangraphs WAR. So pretty big.
Yeah.
Finally, a couple more series. William, what do you think about the sweep? Philly swept Tampa, Baltimore, Minnesota swept Baltimore, and then Detroit swept Colorado. Detroit's best team in the AL right now. Baltimore, I think it's time to put the fork in them. I think they might be done. Minnesota's still dog water, in my opinion, so let's not get too far with that. And then the Phillies took care of business. What do we think about those 3 sweeps?
Spencer Torkelson's been great. I know we've given him a lot of love, but 10 home runs now on the season, 907 OPS. Javier Baez has been hot lately for them. I know it was Colorado, so take it with a grain of salt, but Tigers are playing really good baseball. That's not breaking any ground, but with that rotation and what their lineup's doing, they're going to be there this year. You had the sweep with Baltimore. Yeah, that one you might be able to put a stake in Baltimore. If their dudes aren't hitting like MVP levels, which they're not. I mean, look what Adley's doing right now. 210 average, 659 OPS, only 4 home runs on the season. Yeah, it's been
it's curtains.
It might be curtains. They had a down year last year, or Adley had a down year last year, and it's been even worse this season. Gunnar hasn't been good yet. And obviously we know about their pitching. It's pretty much the worst in the league outside of Sagana, who's actually been pretty decent for them lately.
Trade piece.
Sagano
ends up in like one of these AL West teams or Central. Sagano to the Cubs.
Yeah, maybe that's not a bad. Yeah,
they did get Luis Castillo the other day. The Orioles
Not
with
that
other,
Luis Castillo. Yeah.
the other one, but yeah. I mean, Twins are 18-20, which puts them at fourth in the Central. They're behind Detroit, Cleveland, and Kansas City. They got San Francisco this weekend. I think it's going to be curtains for them real soon. They have a long series ahead.
Yeah. In Baltimore, they have the Angels this weekend in LA, and then the Twins and the Nationals. We talked about their schedule being a little bit easier this year or this month, sorry. And they got swept by the Twins in Minnesota. So yeah, we could see
Brandon Hyde's going to be gone by next week. Next Friday. What did I say?
Yep.
He'll be the fall guy. But yeah. Finally, Angels win the series 2-1. Jeff Hoffman blew the game on Wednesday with a Jorge Soler 3-run RBI double. And yeah, I mean, the Angels, it's getting hot over there. They win more games with Yoan Moncada. So
yeah, Yoan Moncada has been producing for them, but they're 15-21.
And then we had LA and Arizona, which we'll review on Sunday. And
yes.
So, how are we feeling? You looking forward to the weekend? Any big plans baseball wise?
No big plans. I think the weather is supposed to be pretty nice in Chicago, so Kayla and I are going to go on a nice walk on the lake, and then she said she wants to watch baseball on the balcony and enjoy the weather. So I'm going to bring my computer out there, watch the Yankee game at 3, and then
there we go.
Hey, she loves baseball, which is obviously great. I feel like that's kind of a prerequisite for me. If you want to date me, you got to at least have some interest in baseball. And we go to the Cubs games, and she takes score, so it's great.
There we go. Hey, future Mac Trout, Project Trout coming soon, maybe.
Yeah. Get that kid a tee on birth and start hitting some batting practice.
Or we start getting them the pitch, either way.
But, either way.
But with that wraps up week 6 of the MLB season. Thank you for listening. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on X, aka Twitter. And without further ado, William has a Substack article probably dropping by the end of the weekend, start of the next week, potentially. We'll see. I know right now it's kind of schedule's a little bit off for everybody, but we'll be back either Sunday night or Monday morning.
Yes, Sunday night probably this week. Yeah. And also check out the Yankees in 60, dropping those every day. Yep. Recapping the Yankee game in 60 seconds and then talking about it obviously in further detail on this episode, which you just listened to. Yeah, we'll be back Sunday, I think. And next weekend, we're going to be in Boston. We're going to watch Braves versus Red Sox on Friday night.
Let's get it.
First time in Fenway for you?
First time in Fenway.
All right. So we'll have to do something around that for the podcast. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Weather is finally turning up in the northern part of the country. So if you guys are up in the north, enjoy that. And until Sunday, catch you guys next time. Peace out.
Hey, make sure you go to the Marlins game this weekend. Don't forget that one.
Go to the Marlins game for sure.
Marlins White Sox, the bat in Chicago.
Oh. Yeah, maybe. All right. Until then, until Sunday, catch you guys next time. Peace out.